Have you ever had a problem you just can't solve? No matter how much you think, no matter how much you try to get help from others, perhaps you may even have walked away from it for a couple of hours or a couple of days, but still you can't find the answer. You feel like it's there, you feel like it's within grasp, but no matter what you actually do, nothing actually comes into your mindset. Now, this is a common problem for a lot of us, right? Especially, I think, as we become more of a society that prioritizes the mind, we therefore think that the mind can then solve all problems, right? It solved a lot of the basic problems. It solved a lot of the problems in school in terms of tests, in terms of homework, and certainly in real life situations as well. The mind can be a powerful tool. But sometimes, especially when we're faced with a very difficult or a very big decision, we can start to see the mind kind of losing itself. It's not thinking straight. It's kind of wish-washy. One minute it's saying one thing, the other minute it's saying the next. Or perhaps there's not even clarity at all, right? We just cannot get to the bottom of what we're actually trying to do. And this can be incredibly frustrating for a lot of us, right? We want to solve problems. We want to move forward in life. But when we rely on something that can't be relied upon all the time, that's where the issue comes in. And typically, a lot of people in this juncture will just give up. They'll get frustrated, they'll get mad, they'll try everything until finally they become hopeless and they give up. But what if I told you there's another option? What if I told you that the answer to your problems does not come from just your mind, but more importantly, your soul, your being, your very essence? Now think about this for a moment. And I know I use that term lightly, right? Because this is something that cannot be thought. It's almost paradoxical in a sense. But if you let your mind kind of just gently reflect, you'll start to probably realize that you know the answer at a very deep and fundamental level. It's not a matter of you searching and going out in the world and trying to find it. In fact, what needs to be happening, if anything at all, is you getting out of your own way. That's right. We often get in front of or get in the way of whatever it is that we're trying to solve. We think our mind knows the answer when in reality we've known the answer all along. And of course, there's an important distinction to make here. We are not the mind, right? We are beyond the mind. We are something that cannot be grasped. We are not thoughts. We are not flesh. We are not this physical form that you see on a screen or in a mirror. We are something much, much more beyond that. But what are we, right? And this is where things start to get a little bit interesting. If we're not all these things that we've been taught to believe and have believed our whole life, then what exactly are we? Who are we? This is the beginning of a profound shift, right? Many people call it awakening, call it transformation, call it self-realization. But whatever the term is, this is a profound moment in someone's life. When they begin to identify not just with what they see and hear and what they experience with their five senses, but rather what they feel, what they know from a very deep sense of knowing. And when I mention the word know, it's really on a deeper scale. It's intuitive, it's visceral. It's not cerebral, right? It requires the mind and analysis and trying to solve a problem that way, but rather letting the problem or the solution come to you. Instead of trying to treat every problem as a bad thing, why not treat it as an opportunity? Why not treat it as another chance for you to let your true self come to the fore, come to the vicinity? right? Because that's I think the mindset that a lot of us have. We go, hit a problem, let's try to solve it. Then that problem is solved, go, hit another problem, and try to solve that, and then move on from there. Till all of a sudden, life just becomes a set of tackling obstacles, moving them out of our way, and keep charging forward, right? And although a certain degree of that is healthy to have, right? You want to move forward in life, you want to grow. There's also the realization that sometimes we just need to stop moving. The answer is right here. The pot of gold that we've been searching for has been in our backyard the whole time. So now that you're starting to realize this, or maybe you already have, right? If you're here on this channel, if you're watching this video, chances are you already are on this process or on this journey of awakening. Even when you don't think you're in the process of awakening, you are awakening. By listening to this video, by practicing your spiritual practices, you start to let the true consciousness that you are unveil itself. So now that we discover this, or now that we've discussed about it, let's talk about ways that we can actually help cultivate this even further, right? Just like there's ways to solve a problem, just like there's ways to think about something multiple ways, there's also a way to bridge the distance between the problem and the solution. The first thing is to realize that every problem has a solution. It may not be apparent to us, and candidly, it may never will. Some things are beyond our knowledge. Some things are beyond our grasp. But just because they're beyond our grasp doesn't mean that we can't make sense of them. Doesn't mean that we can't be at peace with them. For example, no one really knows what happens to us when we die. No one really knows why we die in the first place. But I think many of us have come to terms that this is a natural process in life. We all have the same fate. We all go to the same destination. And we learn to generally live with it or to be at peace with it. If not when it happens, hopefully sometime after that, right? So that's an example of having a problem, a quote-unquote problem. And that's a topic for another video, right? Death is not a problem. Death is simply a doorway to a new chapter, to a new beginning. But those are instances of problems that probably can't be solved, right? No matter how much intuition we have, we might not be able to come with a solution on a mental level, but we can come up with a solution on a spiritual level, right? To go back to that example of death, we can realize that death, in essence, is just a return to our source, where we were meant to be this whole time. You know, this life is just a journey. It's just a guest house, as Rumi puts it, a distraction, a momentary thing that comes and goes. But our true essence is with our source, is with our creator. But let's talk about some of the more, shall I say, practical problems, or problems that can be solved during this lifetime, right? What do we do in those situations? And it's important that we realize that there's not a silver bullet or a magic pill that we can take and all of a sudden we have all of the answers. What's important to realize is that, first of all, the answer is also looking for us. This sounds kind of strange, right? But if you believe in the law of attraction or manifestation, you'll know that it's not always about you seeking. It's about you allowing yourself to be sought, right? Just like you might want something, realize that the universe is also trying to help you want that as well. So how do you bring those two into alignment? Because there's a part of you that doesn't see the full picture, right? It doesn't see the doings and the workings of the grander universe. Right? You just kind of see it from your own perspective or your own frame of life. So how do you align those two? How do you bring what you're doing into alignment with what the universe is doing? And I call it sort of two steps. One, you must trust the process. You must trust whatever is unfolding is probably best for you. It may not be comfortable. It may not be easy, but that's the point. Nothing that is comfortable and easy will ever help you change, will ever help you grow. So that's the first part, right? Trusting the process. The second part is conscious creation, actually creating with God, right? Not creating from the basis of using your mind and edging God out, but rather creating with a constant remembrance of God, using the tools and the gifts and the skills that He bestowed upon you to then go out and manifest as well, to co-create with God. So that's a very important thing to be mindful of, is that whenever we have a problem, know that the solution is also looking for us. It's not just that we're looking for the solution. But you see, it's easy to lose this, right? It's easy to kind of get lost into a problem. It's easy to get lost into a major decision, to be oblivious to God, to just kind of be so tunnel vision that we got to solve this because this is why. And once we get this, then we'll be happy until another problem comes. It's also about being, about letting go, about realizing that in time, everything will sort itself out. You know, a lot of the times we may go down a path only to realize that God has a better path for us. So what does this mean in the concept of how we should solve problems in life, or how we should make decisions? Well, sometimes we think a certain decision is good for us, and we contemplate it. Let's say marrying someone, or let's say moving to another place, or getting another job, or whatever the decision may be. We may think that's good for us. In the case of marrying someone, we may think that person is good for us. But then God has a different plan for us. And it can be frustrating at first. We might be wondering, well, why isn't it working with this person? You know, everything seems, why can't I be with them? Or if I am with them, why doesn't everything just kind of click the way that I always thought it would? It's because God has a different plan for you. God is not trying to solve for this problem. God is trying to tell you the answer somewhere else. And this is an important thing to be aware of. Sometimes the answer to your problem is not within the problem, but somewhere else. You see, the universe balances itself out. Where there is happiness in one moment, there is sadness in the other, and vice versa. Now, we often think that this is a bad thing, right? We only crave and desire the happiness and the inner peace. We don't actually want to spend time in some of those other feelings that we might characterize as bad or not good. Feelings of sadness, feelings of hopelessness, feelings of despair, of anxiousness. But sometimes those feelings are necessary to help us awaken ourselves, to help us grow, to help us see things in a whole new light, see things in the way God wants us to see them. So this is an important detail too. When we talk about the law of attraction or manifestation, people think that, yep, if I believe and I manifest and I co-create, I will get that. I will get that person, to continue with this example. They don't realize that sometimes what we really want from this situation is not the person, but the happiness that we think that person will bring to our life. And so God will look at it in a different way. God will say, well, I know you want happiness. I know you want a sense of peace, but this is not the way to get it. This person is not the way to get it. I have a totally different way for you to achieve the very exact thing that you're looking for, but you have to trust me. You have to stop resisting, and you have to listen to the truth that perhaps you are not meant for this person. And the mind, of course, is not prepared to listen to that. To the mind, that appears as surrendering or giving up. And for a lot of us, that's just something that we can't accept. But that's why it's so important to go deeper, to peel back the layers of this onion even further, and to realize that sometimes the answer is not where we think it is, but somewhere else. So I hope this video started to shed some of the ways in which we can solve problems in life. Not the way that we've been solving them before or solving them up until this point, but using a different skill, using a different intuitive ability that we all have, right? It's not like, if you practice a certain trade and, have been a plumber for 20 years, that someone next to you can't do the same thing that you're doing. No, we all have this ability. No matter where we went to school, no matter how many years we studied, no matter where we grew up, this is something that is within all of us to access. But it requires us to spend the time to nurture it, to let it come through to the surface. Otherwise, it's just buried deep within, and we don't even know that it exists in the first place. So I hope this video starts getting, the light bulb turning on, right? And I love that analogy, just kind of, it's always been on, right? It's not that your intuition has ever been shut off. Your light has always been on, but it's a matter of whether you actually see it. And that's what I want us to work on. That's what I want you to start applying to your life. And if you feel like this video is great, but maybe you want to take it a step further, and you actually want real practical assistance on this journey, then I'm excited to say that I've recently launched some new spiritual counseling sessions. I'm only offering it to a select group, just given schedule and time constraints. But for those who are interested, I do have slots available if you want to kind of work on this or any other, thing on your spiritual journey. This is the opportunity, right? This is the moment to get someone who has been there, someone who has been through this journey, who can be there not just to provide guidance or to provide instruction, but more importantly, to listen to your own self come to the conclusions, right? This is something that I've learned through my time coaching, is that sometimes the other person is not giving you the answer, you have the answer. But the other person is helpful because they create that space for your deeper intuition to come to the surface. So I hope if you're interested, you allow me to be a part of this process. You can check out my website, www.nikjimawastaman.com, for more information and to schedule a free 30-minute consultation to see if this all works. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know if you have any questions or comments. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and to like the video. But until next time, I wish you a lot of success in applying this new skill and cultivating this new skill so that you can start to solve problems in a whole new way, in a better, more holistic, more complete way. So I thank you again for watching, and I look forward to seeing you on next week's video. Thank you.